Chapter 2. You might think that finding a bag full of diamonds would be the best thing that happened in my life. But you'd be wrong. The best thing was finding Katherine Sanborn. We met at the Whitney Museum. The Whitney is one of my favorite places in New York, and I was staring at one of my favorite paintings, Armistice Night, by George Lucas. And then I saw her. Mid-20s, a heart-stoppingly beautiful face, framed with auburn hair that fell to her shoulders in soft curls. She was escorting a group of high school kids. As they came up beside me, she said, "George Lucas was an American realist."
"And I'm a Puerto Rican romantic,"
one kid said. Big laugh from his teen cohorts. Another kid jumped right in.
"And I'm a Jewish pessimist,"
he said. Within seconds, half a dozen kids were vying to see who could get the biggest laugh. Katherine just grinned and didn't try to stop them. But I did. "None of you is as funny as George Lucas," I said, pointing at the painting on the wall.
"You think this picture is funny?"
the Puerto Rican romantic said. "No," I said, "but the guy who painted it, George Lucas, was a stand-up comedian and a comic strip illustrator. Then he teamed up with 7 other artists and they became known as the Ashcan School."
"Cool,"
the kid said. "He was pretty cool," I said, until one night he got the crap kicked out of him in a barroom brawl and was found dead a few hours later. Now, if you paid attention to your teacher, you could learn a lot of cool stuff like that. I walked away. A half hour later, Katherine found me gawking at Edward Hopper's Early Sunday Morning. "Where's your class?" I said. "I'm not their teacher," she said. "I just do volunteer work at the museum every Wednesday. The kids liked you. They were sorry you left." "I'm sure you handled them just fine," I said. "I did, but I was sorry you left too. How do you know so much about art?" I shrugged. "I just do. It's not a very exciting story." "I love to hear what other people think about art," she said. "If I bought you a cup of tea and a pumpkin muffin at Sarah Beth's kitchen, would you tell me some of the least boring parts?" She smiled, and her soft gray eyes were full of mischief and joy and promise. "I couldn't do that," I said. Her smile faded, and her eyes looked at me more than a little surprised. "But I could buy you a cup of tea and a pumpkin muffin at Sarah Beth's kitchen," I said. "Would that work?" The smile flashed back on. "Deal," she said, extending her hand. "I'm Katherine Sanborn." "Matthew Bannon," I said. Her hand was warm and soft and about half the size of mine. I held it for only a second, but it was long enough for me to get that jolt that goes through your body when you touch someone who has touched your heart. We had tea. I told her about my dream to be a painter. "Maybe I can help," she said. "I teach art. I'd love to see your work. Maybe you can bring some samples to my office tomorrow after my class." "I thought you said those kids in the museum weren't your class." "They're not. I don't teach high school." "Oh, okay. That makes sense," I said. "You're pretty young. You probably wouldn't want to put up with a bunch of hormonal teenage boys all day. What grade do you teach?" She smiled. "It's not a grade," she said. "It's a master's program. I'm a professor of fine arts at Parsons." It was now official. Katherine Sanborn was beautiful and brilliant. I was totally out of my league.